Welcome back to Velo News TV. I'm Jason Sumner, and I'm joined today with Jonathan Vaughters, General Manager, Garmin Slipstream. John, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start out. Let's talk big picture. Earlier in the year, I think it's in November, you address your team, the fans. You talked about your team's need to sort of take that next step to start winning races. You've had some success on that road. You have Tom Peterson winning at Tour of California. Christian Vandevelde gets the stage at Paris-Nice, Tyler Fair at Torino Adriatico. So at this point in the season, just kind of sum up where your team's at. Are you happy with the progress they've made?
I mean, I think we're on expectation. We're not ahead of expectation. We're not behind it either. We have overperformed in some races that I think people discounted our chances, and then we've underperformed in a race like Paris-Roubaix where people were seeing us as one of the favorites. So I think all in all, like we're clearing the hurdle. But, just. So, by the Tour de France, of course, I'd like to be, clearing the expectation and clearing the hurdle by a foot, not an inch.
Okay. What needs to happen between now and then for that to happen?
Well, the biggest thing for us is, we've had 5 riders go under surgery in the last month, and 8 riders with pretty severe injuries in total. So if you look at that, they aren't small riders. They're David Miller, they're Swain Tuft, they're Blake Caldwell, they're Tyler Farrar. Some of our key riders have been just completely taken out of the action, and until they're healthy and back on form again, our team is not going to be at its highest level.
Okay, let's talk Grand Tours. I know at the Tour you have aspirations of the final podium. At the Giro, maybe a different set of goals there. Can you kind of talk about what the team strategy will be going into the Giro d'Italia, and also kind of a ballpark of who the riders are going to be there riding for your team?
Strategy of the Giro this year is pretty similar to last year. I think we go in with a really strong team time trial squad, try to open it up with getting the pink jersey. If we don't win the team time trial, there's some early mountain stages that Christian might be sort of the highest place guy that makes the lead selection on those mountain stages. So get the pink jersey sometime in the first week would be first objective, and then a stage win somewhere in the race, and that could come anywhere. That could be the long time trial. I think Christian or Zabriskie stand a pretty good chance of winning that long time trial. Or conversely, breakaway, kind of like last year with the David Miller throwing his bike over the barriers type stage, where this time his chain doesn't break and he actually does win the stage. So those are our objectives for the Giro. The team, Farrar will be back by then. He's going to do his first 3-week tour at the Giro.
Okay.
I think he'll be fit and ready. He's training hard now, but he did not do the Classic, so he's going to be fresh for the Giro. Christian will be doing it. Christian, big diesel engine. He's last year I think he finished 40th overall or thereabouts in the Giro, and then was 4th overall in the Tour. I would anticipate a pretty similar scenario to Christian this year. He just he takes a lot of racing and a lot of kilometers to get fit, and he's doing that. It's just, it just takes him a while to get going. Zabriskie will be there, looking for good time trials from him. Again, I think for Zabriskie, finishing a 3-week tour, even if he's in the Gruppetto quite a few of the days, is going to set him up a good Tour de France for him.
Okay.
Ryder Hesjedal will be doing the Giro. And then when we get to the last couple spots, we've maybe got Tom Peterson doing his first 3-week tour, which I'd like to see.
Sure. Potentially
Potentially Swain Tuft doing his 3-week tour, depending on his injury. And then Tom Danielson, potentially. Again, we're going to have to see, those are kind of where the last couple spots lie.
Okay. Let's talk about the front of the race of the Giro. Potentially Lance Armstrong's return to Grand Tour racing. We'll see. It's still kind of, there's a lot of influx there right now, but kind of how do you see the front of that race shaking out?
Well, it's a race that the Italians really concentrate on. I think Basso goes in, not as a heavy favorite, but, it's Basso, Cunego, Simoni. Lance, I don't know. I have no idea how he'll be after his injury, and, it's a total mystery to me. So, but for me, I think the general classification of that race is between the bigger Italian riders, maybe Pelizzotti kicking around in there somewhere. Maybe Scarponi as well could be a possibility. There's, as for us, we're not chasing the GC game in the Giro at all. We're chasing stages and maybe the jersey here and there. But as far as GC, we don't have any aspirations.
Okay, let's shift topics. Let's talk about a topic that unfortunately is always associated with cycling, and that's doping. Your team's been at the forefront of the anti-doping fight for a couple of years now, and I ask you simply, how's that fight going right now?
Well, I've said to a lot of people, I think the battle's won, the war goes on. I mean, for the short term, I see, there's massive progress in cycling in general last year. I think in a lot of ways, the anti-doping movement was very much popularized, not only to the public, but even inside the sport amongst the riders. I think there's been really big progress, and I think that continues on today. I mean, the racing I see today, I believe the winners. I don't go away from any of the major races that I've seen this year thinking, oh, well, I don't know about that guy. I'm believing it, and I'm happy about that. But at the same point in time, to be complacent about that is silly, because as soon as the testing technology begins to fall behind, new methods, new drugs, and as soon as anti-doping movement is sort of put a little bit on the back burner and not as popular as it was, and other things come forward, then I think that that there's just a natural movement back toward it. So for me, I mean, for now we're doing great. I mean, A+ on progress, but that doesn't mean that we can be complacent even a little bit.
Okay, let's talk tangentially along those same lines. Lance Armstrong, there's been a lot made in the news lately about his, we'll call it the flap with the French anti-doping authority, the shower that he should or should not have taken. Just simply wanted to know what your take on that situation was.
Well, I don't really know enough about the specifics of it to really comment on it. Obviously, if Lance doesn't do the Tour de France because of this, it'll be a big blow to American cycling. It'll be a big blow to the amount of press and coverage that cycling gets in the United States and in a lot of countries. So, but as far as how it resolves itself, I mean, that's inside. It's between him and the AFLD and WADA and those guys. Now,
if it's one of your riders and that situation comes up, and they would be instructed to not, they would not be allowed to leave this side of the tester, right? Isn't that how the letter of the law says that you need to, you can't take off and take a shower? Is that?
Yeah, no, that's clearly stated in the WADA code. Is that once you're contacted by the tester, if you are going to give a sample, meaning that you don't just refuse them and tell them to go away, which I mean, you'd get suspended for that. But as long as you accept them wanting to take the sample, then you have to remain in eyesight and line of vision until they take the sample.
Okay. Okay. Another subject here. You're president of what basically is the Pro Teams Union, and you've kind of been a leader in trying to bring some of the disparate groups out there. And again, I just kind of wanted to get a status report of as sort of what's going on. I mean, the ASO and the UCI are the main sort of antagonists in this game. Any peace on the horizon?
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to say, yeah, that there's a lot of progress being made there as well. When I took on the job as the president of the AGCP, I almost thought of it as like, I think I just signed up for being the president of, my condo association, the job that nobody wants,
Sure.
who gets to clean the dead frogs out of the pool.
Right.
And there's been quite a bit of cleaning dead frogs out of the pool. But there's been progress, and I've gone to ASO and met with them in person, gone to UCI and met with them in person, and basically tried to reinsert the perspective of the teams in their mindset, because I think for a while now the teams have been sort of pushed to the periphery because of the war between ASO and UCI, and the team's perspective hasn't really been able to be expressed and entered into the consciousness of those two parties. And they're open to hearing what the teams want to hear and how the teams think we can improve cycling as an overall sport. And, what I'm excited about is that, I've gotten those two parties to agree to meet in person. And, hopefully some positive things come out of that meeting, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up. We wish you the best of luck with that. I think you'll probably need at least some of that. And for now, we'll sign off. I'm Jason Sumner. Thanks for tuning in to VeloNews TV.